a lot of you fans out there want to believe that Golovkin's this fucking machine, and so much so that in this fight they didn't want to believe what they were seeing, so they were saying that Golovkin was getting hit on purpose just to try to drag the fight out. Now, I've boxed in my life, you know what I'm saying? I was a boxer for about 5 or 6 years, you know what I'm saying? Steadily. Nobody's in there trying to get fucking hit. Nobody's this fucking machine that goes in there and puts their face in the way of a fucking punch. Nobody's this fucking machine that goes into a fight and puts their body in the way of a fucking punch. Now, there's some that have their adrenaline so high that they're willing to take the give, but at the same time, if they're not giving, they're going to backtrack. Case in point, I saw Golovkin backtrack a few times when Willie Monroe hit him with some straight left hands. I saw him backtrack a few times. Get hit flush coming in, then he'd take a step back, bounce, pound his gloves together, then come back forward again on the prowl. I saw that shit a few times. Not only did I not see that, did I see that him countering Golovkin coming in, I saw him smothering the power puncher's punches on the inside. Now the only thing with that is that Willie Monroe Jr., a C-level fighter, mainly because of his intelligence level, he doesn't have the IQ to know what to do all the way as an inside fighter. He wasn't rolling with any of Golovkin's shots in there. He was smothering very well. He was throwing some beautiful uppercuts on the inside, catching Golovkin flush, basically showing that Golovkin can be fucking hit easily, right? But at the same time, his lateral movement wasn't that great. He stepped back, which every fucking fighter in Golovkin's career, not just these 10 fighters I have listed on the screen, but every fighter in Golovkin's career, they have a problem with, they get hit with Golovkin, they're like, oh shit, that's too much power, and they step back. And as a pressure fighter, a boxer puncher like Golovkin, a boxer puncher is a guy that applies pressure, right? He comes in from the outside and tries to land big shots from the outside. That's what a boxer puncher is. He usually comes in with a jab and tries to land his hard shots from the outside. And when he lands his hard shots from the outside, he goes on the inside and unloads furies. That's usually what a boxer puncher is. Now, Golovkin doesn't really use the jab. He just uses hard shots from the outside, a lot of feints to try to get you to think that he's going to do something. Then he wings with a hard shot, hits you with it. Because he's very fucking accurate. And the guys, as I just broke down, a bunch of C and B minus level fighters, guys that don't have the IQ to get away from that punch, guys that don't have the IQ to know to use more lateral movement if you're going to stay on the outside than to step back and not roll with a punch or use good head movement. They get hit by the power punch from the outside, and then that's when Golovkin forces him up against the ropes and he unleashes a fury. If you look at pretty much all of Golovkin's knockouts, it's because the guys are on the ropes getting hit with a bunch of power shots, accurate power shots. Willie Monroe changed that for a little bit of the fight. I actually think, I can't remember my scorecard, but I either had Golovkin up by 1 point or I had it a draw, or I had Willie Monroe up by 1 point at the time of the knockout. I mean, it was that fucking close to me. It was that close to a lot of boxing enthusiasts. You know what I'm saying? Only the guys that think Golovkin's a fucking machine came up with these excuses that Golovkin was getting hit on purpose and that this fight wasn't really that close because Golovkin was just doing it to draw the fight out to show the fans that he can go to distance. Well, if that's the case, then why didn't he just go to distance and why did he knock him out? Go to distance if you're drawing the fucking fight out. To me, it's either two things. One, he was actually getting caught, you know what I'm saying? And he didn't know what to do and had to adjust to a C-level fighter, by the way. Or uh, he pretty much just it wasn't the fact that he couldn't he knocked him out. You know what I'm saying? It was just the fact that hey shit, I gotta get this motherfucker out of there or he's gonna beat me. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those two reasons, right? So once again, another fighter, Willie Monroe Jr., never held any of the four major sanctioning bodies. So that's 10 fights that I just went through. 10 fights. And only one fighter, Daniel Gill, was once, at one point in his career, a champion. That's terrible ratio, yo. Now let me break down Andre Ward so I can get my point across. In Andre Ward's last five fights, his last recent fight was against Paul Smith. Now he's a journeyman, but that was just a comeback fight because he tore his fucking rotator cuff and was out for 2 years. You don't expect a guy who's been out of the sport for 2 years, tending to an injury, to come in and fight one of the best in his fucking division. No, he needs a tune-up fight, right? I mean, we're accepting Golovkin fighting these bums, in between negotiating big fights, and that's one thing I will give Golovkin. Pussy ass motherfuckers like Peter Quillen are dodging him. You know what I'm saying? In his own division. Felix Sturm hasn't said a goddamn thing, even though I think Felix Sturm is a B level fighter. He's not an A level fighter. I don't even think Peter Quillen's an A level fighter. He's probably a B level fighter as well. But it's still an ability for Golovkin to keep moving up as far as the type of competition he's fighting. Now these guys are not talking about fighting Golovkin, but I know two motherfuckers that are. His name is Andre Ward. His name is Erislandy Lara. Erislandy Lara has already said that he will agree to all the terms that Golovkin wants, and Golovkin still doesn't want to fight that guy. Okay, so I can't give him too much leeway because I know two A level fighters that want to fucking fight him right now. Anyway, go back to Andre Ward. So there's Paul Smith, then there's Edwin Rodriguez. Now he got a small a small fan base, like 15 minutes of fame in the fight before fighting Andre Ward. And this was another fight where Andre Ward was on like a year layoff, but it wasn't because of an injury. But he fought at light heavyweight and knocked him out in the first round. I can't remember the guy's name, but it was a light heavyweight that was known for knocking motherfuckers out. And I got the dude's face, a bald headed cat. I just can't remember his fucking name. Bald headed white dude. But Edwin Rodriguez knocked him the fuck out in the first round in like this 3 round tournament that some promoter had out there, right? So fans saw that on live circuit television. They're like, damn, who is this guy? And then Andre Ward fights him and beats the shit out of him. So he's not really a bum, and he's not, at that time he wasn't a prospect. He was a contender. You know what I'm saying? So he could very well be compared to any one of these guys, or maybe even have a better rating than any one of these 10 guys on this list for Golovkin, right? Now we get to the meat of this shit. The last 3 fights before Edwin Rodriguez, right? All A level fighters. We got Chad Dawson, an A plus level fighter. WBC light heavyweight champion twice. IBF light heavyweight champion. That's a 3-time champion. Andre Ward dispatched to him. Then you got an A level fighter, Carl Froch. Probably one of the best, or if not the best, British fighter to come out of the UK in this decade. Last decade, it would probably be Joe Calzaghe. This decade, if we think about it, is probably Carl Froch. Well, Andre Ward beat the shit out of him. And he was the WBC super middleweight champion twice, the IBF super middleweight champion, and the WBA super middleweight champion. That's a 4-time champion guy that Andre Ward easily dispatched of. Now, I could stop right here. I could have actually stopped at Chad Dawson. And Andre Ward's resume is already better than Triple G's resume completely. It's already better. You know what I'm saying? But we'll keep going. The 5th fight, Arthur Abraham. He is currently a middleweight champion. I think he's fighting Robert Stieglitz soon, right? IBF middleweight champion, WBO super middleweight champion twice. He's a 3-time champion. Let's make a collection of how many times all 3 of these guys were champions. We have 10. If we add up how many times Chad Dawson was a champion, Carl Froch, and Arthur Abraham, we add them all up. That's 10 fucking times total compared to Gennady Golovkin's only fighting guys, or one guy anyway, that was a 2-time champion. And you're telling me that he is the fucking A side in negotiations with this guy? A guy that was a complete underdog in an organized tournament in his division with 6 of the best middleweights or super middleweights, and he was a complete underdog. Like, he had no fucking chance of winning if you ask Las Vegas. If you ask very reputable, respectable boxing enthusiasts like Teddy Atlas, I'm not saying that Teddy Atlas said that Andre Ward wouldn't win, but a lot of respectable experts in boxing, they all had either Mikhail Kessler, Carl Froch, Mikhail Kessler or Arthur Abraham winning the Super 6 tournament. Uh, Andre Ward was not even fucking mentioned. And he went in there and won every fight decisively without a motherfucking mark on him. You know what I'm saying? And you're telling me Golovkin is the A side in negotiations against this guy? Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm done there, but we'll go to Floyd Mayweather. And then, like I said, this is only their last 5 fights, okay? Out of Andre Ward's last 5, his first 3 out of the last 5 are better than this entire list that I compiled, which is just in order of the last 10 fights for Gennady Golovkin. It's better than this entire list. His first 3 fighters of his last 5 fights. That's ridiculous, man. Who the fuck does Gennady Golovkin think he is? You know what I'm saying? Besides what the fans are trying to make him be. Besides what the media is trying to make him be. Right? Let's go to Floyd Mayweather in his last 5 fights. His most recent fight, I ain't even got to say shit. The guy that he just beat is better than anybody that Gennady Golovkin has ever fucking faced. And that's Manny Pacquiao. 7-time champion. That's all I got to say. A-plus fighter. Before that, Marcos Maidana twice. He was a WBA junior welterweight champion and the WBA welterweight champion. 2-time champion. Beat his ass twice. Before that, Canelo. B-plus level fighter. WBC junior middleweight champion. WBA junior middleweight champion. 2-time champion. Before that, and this is a guy that Floyd Mayweather was getting a lot of criticism in, right? A lot of guys are like, why the fuck is he fighting this guy? This guy's a bum. Oh, he hasn't done anything. And this is because he wasn't a household name. And this is, again, why the casuals need to be educated. It's imperative, since you guys control the money in the sport of boxing, it's imperative that these motherfuckers are educated, man. Robert Guerrero is a 3-time champion. He was the IBF featherweight champion twice, and he was the IBF super featherweight champion once. He's a 3-time champion. Also, before he fought Floyd Mayweather, he only had 1 loss, which I think the dude's name was Gamaliel Diaz. I remember him. Then he avenged his loss with a knockout, right? Then he went on a complete winning streak. Mind you, that loss was like 2007. Went on there with a major win streak, moves up to 147, and beats the shit out of a guy that he wasn't supposed to beat, and Andre Berto. At that time, Andre Berto only had 1 loss against Victor Ortiz, but he was still seen as a major player in the welterweight division, and Robert Guerrero beat the shit out of him. That's why Floyd Mayweather gave him that fucking shot. You know what I'm saying? He's a B-level fighter, but he had the credentials. He fought a guy who was the best in that division, even at his first fight at that division. He had the credentials, a 3-time champion. So, Mayweather's last 5 fights, he's fought a guy that was a 7-time champ. Let's collectively add this up. That's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. His last 5 fights, and I only counted Maidana 1 time. If we count him twice, that's 16. We'll only count him 1 time. Fuck it. His last 5 fights, collectively, these guys have been champion 14 fucking times. If we count Maidana twice, 16 times, compared to Gennady Golovkin's 1 guy that he fought that was champion twice. Get the fuck out of here. He don't deserve no Floyd Mayweather fight. And you guys know this shit, man. The only reason why people are clamoring for a Floyd Mayweather Gennady Golovkin fight is because he is the next guy in line that people think is going to finally knock this cocky punk motherfucker, that they think anyway, off his fucking throne. This cocky, flashy, dominant black man in the sport of boxing, knock his ass off the throne. Gennady Golovkin is that hope, right? That's all it is. That's all it is. There's absolutely no fucking way in hell Gennady Golovkin deserves a fight with Floyd Mayweather. I actually hope the fight goes down because I know exactly what would happen in that fight. Floyd Mayweather would beat the shit out of Gennady Golovkin. You know what I'm saying? If the fight ever goes down, I'll do a very, very, very thorough breakdown and prediction for why Floyd Mayweather would beat Golovkin. He's way too smart for this guy. Way too smart. A guy like Willie Monroe that doesn't even have 25% of the IQ that Floyd Mayweather has, and he's actually, even Floyd Mayweather at 38 years old, he's not even better skilled, or his abilities aren't even better than a Floyd Mayweather, and he still gave Golovkin trouble for at least, I believe, 7 rounds, and possibly could have been winning on the scorecards, dude. So what the fuck you think a guy like Floyd Mayweather would do? Even though he's smaller, he's smart enough. I mean, think of this. I just said this today. When was the last time Floyd Mayweather got hit flush? And we're not talking about Marcos Maidana in the second fight when the bell rang. Floyd Mayweather dropped his hands and Marcos Maidana threw that right hook that rocked Floyd Mayweather momentarily. I'm talking about flush as fuck, right? And that's Miguel Cotto. Well, it really wasn't even that flush. Miguel Cotto hit him, bloodied his nose, but we're talking about flush. You know what I'm saying? Right on the fucking chin. Right on the chin. I gotta go back to Shane Mosley when he rocked him with a right hook in the second round. That's the last time Floyd Mayweather's been hit flush. That was 5 years ago, guys. We can go ahead and count uh, Miguel Cotto. That was 3 years ago. We'll go ahead and count Miguel Cotto. That was 3 years ago. Even though he didn't rock Floyd Mayweather, he didn't hurt him. He just hit him with a volume of punches. He still landed under 30%, or he still landed under 35% of his punches. I think he landed like 31%, something like that, which is probably the best on Floyd Mayweather. But as a whole, that's not really that good. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's 3 years ago. And my boy I was telling this to, talking about how Gennady Golovkin won't be able to hit Floyd Mayweather. He said, dang, you won't be able to get one in? That was my response to him. Even if he does get one in, Gennady Golovkin has slow hands, and he plods, and he's flat-footed. Floyd, Floyd Mayweather will use lateral movement on this guy, probably smother him on the inside, you know what I'm saying, landing his check left hook to get on the inside, tie up on the inside, you know what I'm saying, on the break probably throw a couple uppercuts, or before the tie up throw that signature right uppercut that Floyd Mayweather has on the inside. And then definitely when Golovkin is plotting towards Floyd Mayweather, he's gonna get countered with so many fucking right hands. And then trust me, though Golovkin is very accurate, Floyd Mayweather is gonna see the punches coming because Golovkin's hands are not that fast, man, and his footwork is atrocious. It's not terrible, but it's not good enough to beat a fast guy like Floyd Mayweather. And mind you, if they did fight, Golovkin would have to go down to 154. He's actually already agreed to going down to 154. So he would probably have to go down to 154. There would probably be a rehydration clause. You know what I'm saying? Even if there was, it wouldn't matter because Canelo came into their fight like 168 fucking pounds. Some odd, ridiculous number like that. But, I mean, even if there was, it wouldn't matter. I think that would be a knock on Golovkin rehydrating that high. And Floyd, I think Floyd beats him easily, man. Same thing with Andre Ward. Andre Ward is a fucking dynamo on the inside. I mean, he gets on the inside, he smothers the shit out of your punches, man. He does this one thing where he jumps on the inside and he throws that hook and then he ties you up. Then he also does the Bernard Hopkins where he's waiting on the outside and he just lunges in with that straight right hand. And then he can also switch to southpaw and do the same thing. He can switch it up on you. I mean, I don't see Gennady Golovkin beating either one of these guys. I think Golovkin wants to fight Mayweather for the payday, and I think that since he's a bigger guy, he would try to use that against Mayweather. And he probably feels that he could probably knock Mayweather out, use 100% of his power. But I know for sure, based on him trying to save face, which is the same thing that Leo Santa Cruz did. And again, shout out to Dante's Boxing Nation when Dante interview Leo Santa Cruz and basically was like, "What does it take? What will it take to get you in the ring with Guillermo Rigondeaux?" And he was like, $1 million, $2 million, and fucking Leo Santa Cruz was sitting there stuttering, the 3 million, 3 million. I found him for 3 million. You know what I'm saying? You know goddamn well you're not gonna get $3 million to fight Guillermo Rigondeaux. But what Leo Santa Cruz did is what I call saving face. See, the fans are watching this shit, right? They already know that he came out earlier and said that his dad doesn't think the Guillermo Rigondeaux fight isn't a good fight for him, so stay away from him. They also know that Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. came out and told Leo Santa Cruz to stay away from Guillermo Rigondeaux, so they're looking at him. And consequently, Leo Santa Cruz is getting the backlash that I think Gennady Golovkin will get eventually because of the names that are being thrown out there, right? And I'll get to that in a minute. But it's called saving face, guys. You know damn well no promoter, not even Al Heyman, will give Leo Santa Cruz 3 million because Guillermo Rigondeaux is the highest paid 122 pounder. Even if he moves to 126, his accomplishments, right, will make him the highest paid 126 pounder. So, with that said, he's got to get his piece of the pie. If he's getting his piece of the pie, his opponent is going to get less. And it ain't going to be no fucking 3 million. We already know. That's why those negotiate when he said that, nobody took that shit seriously. That's why there are no negotiations. You know what I'm saying? It's called saving face. Make an outlandish claim to make it look like to make it look to the casual fans that you really want the fight, but in reality you're hoping the guy says no so that you could be like, look, I offered the fight to him and he said no. This is exactly what Gennady Golovkin's doing to Andre Ward by saying that he will fight Carl Froch, who by the way retired today, and I'll do a video on that. But by saying that he would have fought Carl Froch at 168 pounds, the second best super middleweight, but he won't fight the best super middleweight at 168. Oh no, he's got to come down to 164 because he's the A side. Get the fuck out of here. You saving face. You know goddamn well Andre Ward is not moving down to 164. He's staying at 168, and he understands that he's the A side, which he is, so you're going to have to come to his weight and knock the king off his fucking throne. Motherfucker. You're not fooling us, bruh. You're not fooling the boxing enthusiasts, at least the advanced boxing enthusiasts. We've seen this before with Amir Khan as well, man, and Kell Brook. He told Kell Brook, hey, you got to be a top level fighter. Oh, well, we'll fight this guy and beat this guy. Oh, well, we'll win a belt first. You know, you got to make a name. Well, this motherfucker has had the IBF belt, got the IBF belt from fucking Sean Porter and has defended it already twice. What the fuck do you want? It's called saving face. Amir Khan knows Kell Brook will dig in his motherfucking ass, no homo. You know what I'm saying? But he's saving face. He's not trying to look like a pussy. That's what Leo Santa Cruz is doing. That's what Gennady Golovkin is doing. So, after watching this video, guys, the first segment of the roast, I have thoroughly roasted Triple G. If you don't understand by now, after breaking this down beautifully, why this motherfucker does not deserve an Andre Ward or Floyd Mayweather fight, right? And before you even come up with the excuse, oh, well, and I've already addressed this, I'll address it again for you. Oh, Gennady Golovkin, he's trying to fight the best fighters in his division, but they don't want to fight him. That's fine. I know two guys that said they will fight him, and one said he will move up to his division. That's Andre Ward and Erislandy Lara. And what is the response we got with the Lara fight, right? What was the response by that guinea pig looking motherfucker? Willie Monroe Jr. has a better fan base. Get the fuck out of here. Who you fooling, dog? What was the response with the other guy, Andre Ward? Oh, he's got to come down to 164 catch weight. Get the fuck out of here, man. But I'll fight the guy that he already beat at 168 though. Yeah. Fuck out of here, man. Let me know what y'all think. This concludes the roast. Do what you do in the comment section and be real. Don't go on my fucking comment section with opinions. If you have a reason for why Gennady Golovkin deserves a fight with Floyd Mayweather, other than the idea that you think Golovkin will knock Floyd Mayweather out. I don't want to see no racist motherfuckers on there saying, you know, we want that nigger to get knocked out. We hate that black motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? He's a cherry, not racist guys on this one, but he's a cherry picker, gay feather, Mayflower. I don't want to hear none of that fifth grade bullshit. None of that fifth grade bullshit. And please don't tell me to go watch the Pacquiao fight in slow motion. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear none of that shit. Come with factual fucking evidence for why you can pretty much debate everything that I said in this video and come up with a factual conclusion for why he deserves a fight with Floyd Mayweather. Come up with factual evidence where you can debate everything I said in this video with factual proof and come to a factual conclusion for why he should be the A side in negotiations with Andre Ward. This concludes the roast 1.